Hi. Okay, so my name is Harriet, and thank you for being here. Um, this video is about filling a sketchbook. And there's three main reasons that I wanted to make this video. Maybe there's four. Let's see. The first one is because it's kind of a joke, I think, amongst a lot of artists that you have a sketchbook, you work in it, and then you put it away, and then like 2 years later you pull it out to have a look through it, and you realize there's 10 pages at the end of the sketchbook that didn't get used, or more, sometimes more than 10. We all do it, and yes, it's a waste, but also like just fill it up. I mean, I have to tell myself that. And so, yeah, I don't know why we do it. But anyway, that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to do is I'm going to show you give you a sketchbook tour of my most recent sketchbook that I pretty much finished. You'll see there's a couple of pages at the end that don't quite get used the way the earlier pages get used. There is something on them, but I did fill it up. Like, I made myself keep going until I got as close to the end as I could. And, I may go back and fill in those pages. I think it might have something to do with the weight of the book when you're holding it, because when you start a sketchbook, it's so heavy in the bottom, the right side of it. There's a lot of weight there because all the new pages that haven't been started yet are all on that side. And then when you get to the end, it's much heavier on the left side, and there's nothing to support it. So, excuse me. So I think that might have something to do with it, perhaps. But we work on tabletops too, so I don't know if that theory holds true in that case. But anyway, and then the third thing that is behind wanting to do this sketchbook tour is to show how imperfect my sketchbook is. Yes, I have a few finished pieces or almost finished pieces, or even like just ideas, but they look very finished. But there's a lot of unfinished things. There's a lot of mixing up of stuff. And the reason for that, the reason I want to demonstrate that, is because that's what a sketchbook is for. It is for experimenting, trying new things out, exploring, practicing, changing things. It's your place for being creative and putting your ideas down visually, and even if you don't know where they're going, and it can look like garbage, but it's your sketchbook. That's what it's for. It's for being a receptacle for your ideas, your practicing, your explorations, you're developing something, experimenting with different materials, ideas, thoughts, imagery, types of paint or pencils. So that is part of my intention. And then I will be honest, I want to show you my work. I've not shown I have kind of shown my work in some places on social media, but I've never done anything like this. So let's just go have a look. Thank you for being here. Let's go. Okay, so this is the sketchbook. You can see there's a lot of paint smudges on it, and there's a vintage sticker of a high school graduate with her graduation cap and gown on. And that came from a vintage book. It had half girls and half boys. They were all identical. The girls were all identical and the boys were all identical. Very cute. Anyway, here we go. So, opening page, just sort of playing around with the months. And you can see up here it says 2023, if you can see it. I hope you can see it. So here we go. this was just playing around. I usually do pretty detailed work, so this was different for me, and it's a way to just, yeah, have fun and let go of any preconceptions or expectations that I have for myself. So I just let loose here. And this is, I'll let you look at it if you feel like it. This was a listing of like end of year goals and accomplishments kind of thing. Now, here is the meat of the sketchbook. This was in December of 22. I actually was just playing around with this bear figure, and then I just had the idea to start doing things that started with a B, and I included a letter B. And I love drawing letters. It's really fun. So here is C. I just sort of did a little stream of consciousness, whatever I thought of that had a C, and sometimes it would be things that didn't necessarily begin with that letter that I might have included, like her, I don't know, but cat, the word C, and this was D, dig, droplets, dots, just playing around, having fun with my pencils. Now, this one was a pencil drawing, and I went back and I just painted it, and I added things that weren't there in the pencil drawing. I don't have the pencil drawing to show you, but this is me going back. This is a collage piece. That's from a piece of Italian wrapping paper. So this is E. And there's really not much on here that starts with an E, but that's an E. And then this is just, again, having fun. This is actually, oh, you know what I wanted to show you on this one? This little girl up here is from an antique photo, from like Victorian times. I love drawing those kind of figures. And I wanted to mention that because here is a cactus and in the desert, and this is kind of like from a reference photo combined with stuff from my imagination. The landscaping around and behind that cactus is pretty much from my imagination based on what I know of landscape. And then there's some kind of rodent here and a little lizard or salamander. And this is I like this way that I wrote the date down. And next we have another cactus, a flowering cactus. I actually really love cacti. I've grown to love it since I've been living in California. Okay, here is just, again, it's a sketchbook. You just do whatever you want. And that's the way it is. So here's kind of like a Day of the Dead skeleton. And just some words I wrote up here of a song I remember from my childhood. Okay, back to the alphabet. Here's a G. Yeah, having some fun. There might be some weird reflections on it because of the graphite. Sorry about that. Now, I left this blank because I was going to come back and do H. I never did. I will. Here's an I, and of course, that's an igloo, so I at least stayed with a real alphabet theme. So we have an igloo, but we also have some pine trees in the back. I don't know if that happens in nature, but it happened on this page. And then we have a J. And there is a picture of a jay, a blue jay, with some groovy 1960s style flowers. So hopefully you can see that. Okay. And here's just an F, playing around for the fun of it. I have some writing under there, but I don't know what it is. Okay. Here we go. K. Had a lot of fun with this one. kangaroo, obviously. I really enjoyed drawing that kangaroo, I have to say, with little Joey coming out at the bottom, coming out of the mama's pocket pouch. And here it was just something based on the cacti that I was drawing. I think that might have been a pencil sketch to begin with, the cactus, and then I added all this other stuff, just having fun, adding some leaves, another little flowering cactus, kind of a Eve, you know, in the Garden of Eden figure. The hands, the background, playing around with color, just having fun. And what I can also tell you is I skip around. So this painting just started as this abstract background, and then I added this, this cow being abducted. Some of the things that we've already looked at actually were done after this one. So a lot of times I go back and I work a page up from something that it had just started out as. This one I've pretty much never gone back and worked it up. It's exactly the way I did it when I first did it. I just like it. And I think it's cute and funny. Oh, here is just a 4-leaf clover. It's the beginnings. One of these days I'll show you my, I did a St. Patrick's Day greeting card illustration that I used to send these things out by email to people I knew, and I had the base was like this, and then it had 4 Irish setters, and it had some lettering that I painted in. It was very cute. It was 4 different paintings, and I'll show you that sometime. I wanted to try it again, see if I could do it from scratch. I haven't gone any further than this. Okay, here we are. L. Just L. And some kind of planet there. Love. Maybe. Maybe that's what it's starting to say. Okay. And then here's another one of those, like, there's a cat hair here. Just, you know, having fun. Cat hair. Yeah, just having fun, playing around with big shapes. Because as you can see, I do a lot of very detailed, tight work with a very pointy pencil. And then it's fun to do stuff like this. So here we go, back to the pencil. And an M. And we do have a moon. So, can you see that? Here's a cute cat with a flowery background. The cat isn't quite fully developed. The eyes could probably be worked out a little better. But I do like this, and I like the way the colors came out. And if you saw the video I did just before this one, where I did an unboxing of paints from Michaels, that's this paint. It's very matte, and I just love it. I just love how matte it is. It's almost like a gouache, I guess. It's almost like chalky. It doesn't come off, but it just has that feeling. And here is another, whatever, just an idea. I wanted to get like I wanted her to have like a fairy-like quality, and just interesting things going on around her. Okay, N. Very nice. I'd like to do the whole alphabet one of these days. I will get to that. You might think that's an O, now that I come across it after the N that we just looked at. But it wasn't intended to be an O. It was actually intended to be kind of a webby looking sphere, you know, which it kind of is. It's not very detailed, but that's kind of fun. And this is one of those things that I want to talk about, like when you're stuck for an idea. And actually, this goes for almost everything that we've looked at so far. Almost every page that we've looked at so far. started out as just kind of a doodle or a sketch without having any idea where it was going, and just letting myself relax into the movement of my hand. I would feel like I don't know where this is going. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? And then just let it go. Like, just let those thoughts happen and then just continue. So this is kind of an example of, you know, starting out with like just some silly little line work and then just filling the page. Will I go back and paint it? I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. And these are little sketches I did for a class assignment. I took a class in children's character design for children's books. And so one of the initial assignments was just to draw some cakes or snacks. And then we ended up putting like googly eyes on, which I don't have here, but you'll see there's other stuff that has to do with this project. So then I took a text that was given to us in the class, and I created a character out of a blueberry. And this was an initial sketch. I added the paint later. And then the blueberry is here again. And this was a bicycle that I started, that's my bicycle actually, that I started sketching pretty much a year ago, like in the spring or summer of last year. I got interrupted while I was drawing it. And then I just went back, used the half a page that hadn't been used to work out that little blueberry again, and then just painted the whole thing. Yeah, here's the blueberry. I'm not turning the sketchbook around because it's kind of lined up perfectly. So, sorry, you're going to have to look at that sideways. So there's a smiling blueberry, and he's snuggling his bunny. And, oh, here we go. And this is the text. One smiling blueberry snuggling. Very cute. This was just something I did. Just came out of me as I was playing around. I started with the flowers and then I added the bird. I probably found the bird on something random and threw it on the page. So that's what this is. And I like the colors. And here we go. There's a lot in this sketchbook. This is a long video. It might be too long. I might end it pretty soon. There's a lot of really great paintings coming up, but this is the blueberry. I don't know if you can see it, but this was an initial sketch to turn the blueberry into a pull toy, and then I did this other stuff on top of it. Here it is. So it was an idea for a pull toy based on the character. This is just one of those pages that is just whatever. I picked faces off of like YouTube, just really quickly sketched them randomly at different times, and then I go back to the page and I added all the paint. These were pencil sketches for another character for that class, and then they were more like this up here. And then I added a lot of stuff around them. I added color to them, obviously most of them, not that one. I added this figure that I found somewhere here, and I just wanted to see how it would look if I added this kind of background. I love it. I do love it. More lemur sketches, trying to really get my hand used to and my mind connecting to what a lemur looks like. Here's another lemur. That was the character, another character in a story. This is the final illustration for the story. It's about a chef, a ramen chef, who has his own restaurant, and all these animals back here are waiting in line because his ramen is so famous. And of course there's a whole story with some of the characters, but these are collaged in. It's Japanese paper, and I just really like the way it looked up there. I felt like it added some authenticity to it as a restaurant. And this is the same character doing different things. And then this is actually just a sketch outside a cafe. Very unfinished. I didn't really have time to do more on it. More faces, just random faces. A baby. That's a cute baby. This is in a cafe I was in. Here's another cafe. It's sideways. This is outside that cafe. Here we go. Just a face. Started with the eyes and then just created outward from that. White pen eyebrows. I would actually like to go back into this and do something. I'll let you know if I do. So this also kind of started the same way, very simple shapes. And then I went back and I wanted to add a lot to it. And I just kept going. So I'll just give you a little time to look at it. There's a lot going on there. Okay, next. This was just a redo of a tarot card, the Empress. That's the French for Empress, l'Impératrice. And that's just what that is. These are all acrylic paint. Okay, then I started sketching from a photograph of, guess who? Frida Kahlo, in case you don't know. And I wasn't very thrilled with these, but sketchbooks are for working out your ideas. They don't have to be great drawings. They don't have to be good drawings. You want to draw something a lot when you're learning to draw it. So I drew her face quite a bit. And then I did this drawing. She is in here quite a few times. This is the most accurate one, but even that was her at first. But now it looks like two women there. Okay, then, oh, here we have, there will always be little surprises in my sketchbook. This is a little piece of translucent paper called glassine that I did a little collage on. And here is, this started out as a very sketchy pencil drawing, and then I went back in and added the paint, the colors, the shapes, adding the detail to the cats. And now, unfortunately, I can't really turn this, as I said, because I'll never get the sketchbook centered under the camera if I do that. So hopefully you can just tell what this is. Started out as a tree, added a little tree house, some flowers. I have a little figure dancing down here, some patterns, flowers, etc. It needs more work, and I will be going back. Okay, this is on-site sketching I did at a marina in my area. There's a big palm tree trunk and some boats in the background. There's a mom and her child. There's a fountain right here with a bird, a leaf. Okay, here we go. Another painting. This started out as a pencil drawing, like pretty complete pencil drawing. And then I went back and I added a lot of color and a lot of, you know, texture in the paint. And the shape of the cat's head changed a lot from what it was. And it's much more accurate. It was sort of wonky. Anyway, I'm pleased with this, to be honest. I'll say it. Then this is someone I saw on YouTube. Did a quick sketch. Someone being interviewed. And then I went back and just added black and white paint. Here's just a little doodly thing. And then this was, I started with the eyes. And then I decided to see if I could create the rest of the face without trying too hard to make it realistic. So I liked making the lips realistic, but I liked adding these very, you know, non-objective shapes and colors to the face. And even this up here, which didn't originally intend to look like hair, but it kind of does look like a hair silhouette in the background of the head, or coming off of the back of the head. So there's that. This is a life drawing at a pier. There's like a train track up here, and there's this little under the train tracks path down to the ocean. So that's what that is. And then we just have some lettering, lots of lettering. I'm going to skip that. Here's another. This started out as a sketch of this window, and then I just went back in and started freestyling, you could say. I like practicing these flowers to see if I like mixing scale and texture. I like to make the flowers realistic and at the same time not always realistic. Shapes and silhouettes, and yet a very distinctive facial expression. Okay, here we go. What's this? A blank page. Oh no. Oh, okay. So what we're going to see next, and I started it back here because I thought I would continue it. This is my to-do list. I started this as a to-do list where I would only draw what I had to do. So, you know, I don't know how interesting it is what I actually had to do, but I actually did kind of use visual symbols to represent like my thinking about what I needed to do and what I needed to pick up, where I was going. And here we go. This too. And I changed the way words were spelled. So I go to my storage place, but that's how I spelled it, storage place. And I got it done. So here it is, the 23rd, and today I did indeed go to my storage place, and I did in fact get and I have the arrow going back to this case, which I said I had to pick up. I must pick it up because it contains, and then blah, blah, blah. And what about those big Chinese art books? So I did in fact get and some other stuff, so hooray for me. And then this is Christmas Day. This one. And I binge watched Harry Potter films. I'm going to close this. So it says it's Christmas Day today. Binge watched Harry Potter. And I spelled it the way it sounds to me. And then this was more little sketches for another one of those children's book assignments. I actually didn't complete that assignment, but that was what's going on here. This is January 2024. More like playing around with a girl's face. Here we go. Another kind of stream of consciousness figure. This to me is not complete. It needs a few more details, but I don't know what it's going to be. So one of these days I'll go back into it, perhaps. Here's a piece I'm working on. It started out as kind of an assignment from the same source of a sewing machine, any sewing machine. So I picked this style, and then I just playing around, I ended up having the deer with the antlers and enveloping the sewing machine. There's some thread coming down. I just added these flowers yesterday, actually, the purple and blue flowers. Just having fun. And then I think actually this drawing I did before I added it to this, before I added deer to the sewing machine. So this was just a drawing I don't know, I was inspired to do. I probably found some reference material that I liked. And then I added this girl in the background. I just really like the deer and the flowers. So put this back on here. Again, just mixing and matching. So this was a palm tree in the backyard of a house where I was doing a pet sit, actually. And then I just added these. I think those were the leaves of the palm tree. I didn't get a whole lot done. It was just the pencil part. And then at some point, like maybe a month later, I added these, what look like flames to me. They're kind of like chrysanthemums. And I actually really like just the way this page looks. Okay, and this is kind of funny. This is also, again, playing around with an assignment where I picked a giraffe and I decided to create a character. I named him Raph the Giraffe Calf. That's Raph right there. Those are his parents. And I have paintings of giraffes. So this is just trying to stylize it, still giving it some realism, but also giving it like this really sweet quality. This is just playing around. Started out as that stalk and just adding other stuff. There's more giraffes coming up. So, and then I was playing around with expressions on Raph's childlike giraffe face. And then this started out as I was drawing a plant out in a backyard. And it was just the leaves and one part of the stem. And later on, when I was just going through my sketchbook, I wanted to add something, so I just picked up a scissor and drew my own hand. Added some line work in the background. A mug. And I did the mug, it was sitting in front of me while I was drinking coffee, and then later on, like maybe 2 weeks later, I added the steam. And then these are just I was motivated to draw some elephants based on a book I had just read. Let me know if you want to know about the book, because if I get started talking about it, this video will be even longer. And I'll show you a very finished drawing that I did of an elephant that the book inspired me to do. I want to do more elephants. So here we go. You could say I did something with this page, but I really didn't. I mean, that's not really anything. And this is cut out of a vintage knitting book. It's pretty sweet, I think. But as you can see, nothing else happening here. But I will show you what's back here. Yeah, some collage stuff I keep holding on to. So remember I talked about that four-leaf clover with the Irish setters. Well, this was sort of going to be similar. This is definitely not finished, but you can see where it's going. And then these were some paintings I did of cats, just their heads. Oh, and this is from one of those golden book encyclopedias. I cut this little chipmunk out. So we've got these lovely cat faces. Have a little piece of lace. You never know what you're going to find in my sketchbooks. There's always something floating around. And that's it. And then the back is covered in tape, and I use it as a cutting board, which, by the way, that is a trick that I learned back in the Middle Ages when I went to art school. If you didn't have a proper cutting board, you put tape down on a piece of anything, and I use the back of my sketchbook, and then you can cut things. And it's not self-healing like the kind you can find nowadays, but it's a DIY cutting board. So thank you for taking this tour with me. Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. It was a very long video, I know, and I thought of cutting it down to like a part A and a part B, but I'm gonna just leave it the way it is now, and I'm gonna, I guess, watch to see if people jump off the video at a certain point, and if I see that happening, if anyone is watching this, are you out there? If anyone's watching this and I see a majority of those people who are watching it jump off a little, like somewhere in the middle, I might go back and turn it into an A and B. But I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I'd love to hear what you think. If you feel motivated, if you were, just if you enjoyed it, if you think you want to do more work in your sketchbook, yeah, I would just love to hear your thoughts. And okay, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and it was nice seeing you. Okay, I'll see you. Boop.